Are saying our goodbyes then to the United States, but we're also saying our goodbyes to Cristiano Ronaldo. Zlatan, that's what I want to talk to you about in just a second, because he said yesterday that this would be his last World Cup after they were knocked out, Portugal against Spain. Let's hear from Cristiano Ronaldo after that game.
Well, normal, sad to leave the World Cup like this, but as I said yesterday in the press conference, I gave everything, I gave my best, and I live with a clear conscience, right? This is football. This is the life of a footballer. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and you have to keep going. The truth is, it was my last World Cup, yes, but I will have time for everything else, to think, be with my family, not make decisions in the heat of the moment, and continue with life.
It's important to say, Zlatan, he is not retiring from football. He's not retiring from international football, but he is saying, look, I'm 41. I'm not going to be at a World Cup when I'm 45. So how do you reflect on his legacy at World Cups on the world stage?
I mean, I send him all my respect. What he did massive things. I think the World Cup will miss him, as he will miss also the World Cup. I think he tried to win the World Cup. This gentleman won it. It's not easy. It's the most difficult thing probably to win, and his mentality is to win in everything he goes in. So for sure, the world is gonna miss him by playing the World Cup, and but he didn't say he retired from the national team. So let's see what happens there, and I think the world should enjoy him while he's playing, whatever shirt he uses. And this is the last World Cup. It was the last World Cup also for Neymar, but probably he stopped the national team like Modric. But for sure, people is gonna miss him, and let's see how long. But it's understandable also because the age he has, and it catches up to everyone, just like it did for this gentleman, and this animal. So this is part of the game.
Thierry, real quick on Cristiano Ronaldo, we have to move on.
No, look, a lot of great players didn't win the World Cup. That doesn't define their legacy. His legacy is untouchable. Whatever he's going to decide, I wish him all the best. I wish he can pass 1,000 goals. He inspired a lot of generation kids, especially with the way he breathes, lives, and thinks football. Look at his body, look at how he is. He's an example for everybody. So, big man, all the very best in what you wish to do.
Thank you, guys. OK, All Day Access, sponsored by Verizon. Then the final two pieces of the quarter.
Good football. So, yeah, let's see. Because Belgium, we thought it was over against Senegal, and they did a great comeback.
Yeah, but the USA home crowd, does that excite you, the prospect of that one?
That would be a great game.
Yeah. I think probably the neutral would quite like to see that.
Definitely. I watched their opening game and it was brilliant. The crowd, the atmosphere, their energy, intensity, and yeah, they've done brilliant.
And they can relax knowing that if anything happens, they can always get a red card suspended. I'm only joking. It'll be interesting to watch that one tonight. Let's go back, shall we, and have a little look then at some of Spain's better moments, and certainly Mikel Merino gave them the moment to smile about the most tonight.
Yeah, we were speaking a little bit in the hydration break where it was a bit slow, and I think in this action, you know, Merino has this great, like, striker mentality. He scores important goals, and here he plays the free kick very quick. And then as soon as Ferran Torres receives the ball, he sees Merino in the space, and it's such a great finish in front of the goalkeeper. And here we see the Portugal players, they switch off, and then as soon as you play the ball, the movement is very fluid and great composure in front of the keeper. Maybe here Ruben Diaz could go and tight a little bit on Ferran. He arrives late, and as soon as the ball goes through, it's a very good goal.
I thought Torres was excellent when he come onto the pitch, and the changes Spain made the difference. So yeah, this is pattern to play with Spain, 1-2 touch. This is when Spain at the best are very difficult to get close to. For the defender, you don't know whether you want to get tight or you want to drop off because you have runners running behind you. And this is a typical Spain goal where, you know, you see all the patterns, the movements, all the excitement which they play with, and the fluidity which they play with. It was all evident in this goal.
Yeah. That's what they were crying out for the whole game.
But the mentality as well to get the ball, because maybe in the 90th minute you say, let's cross it in the box, but the way, you know, you want to play quick, you want to create a chance, and And Ferran Torres, normally he has been playing a striker number 9. He came off on the left wing, and I think I agree with you, Wayne, that he put on a different energy, different pace, and was a great turn. It's not easy to receive half space and then control and a great ball through the space.
And that was in the 91st minute. It seemed to really kind of wake Portugal up to the idea that they were going out of this World Cup, because they had a couple of great chances then, didn't they, in the dying moments?
They did, and they put a few more balls into the box, and you see Bernardo Silva making the box, and he's obviously not the tallest player, but he gets himself in the middle of the goal, and he probably should do a little bit better, if I'm being honest. And we see in a little bit with his former teammate Rodri in there as well, which I think is good, because it shows that committed to the country he's trying to do well. And again, right at the end here, Neves' chance was it, and maybe Ronaldo can just throw himself at it. I think maybe if he throws himself at it here, he's offside as well, I think.
Frustration this was at the end of the game, though, that they didn't do this more in the second half.
They waited too long,
You've waited to go down and concede a goal to then have those opportunities and crosses in the box, and I still question that maybe the substitutions from Martinez. And
was he waiting for extra time coming, do you think, to make those substitutions? Was that what he was looking at?
Time waits for no man, does it?
It was weird that Ramos didn't come on, because the impact he had, we spoke before the game, and just not having minutes.
It's the gamble, isn't it? We've seen Spain make some really good subs, and that really helped them. And that's the gamble you take, whether you try and get to extra time to bring your players on and reorganise your team. And unfortunately for Portugal, it just didn't pay off.
We talk about the perfect time to score, and actually for Spain, if you're going to have a 1-0 in a World Cup knockout game, that's exactly when you want to do it, because, had they scored earlier in the half, Portugal might well have made a little bit more positivity, and those changes might have come.
Well, I was praying it was in, normal time for everyone. They don't have to stay up any longer. But yeah, it felt like they needed that to happen. And the subs made a huge difference, that intensity, that clinical edge. But yeah, for them to score in that time just gives Portugal very limited minutes then to obviously create any opportunities, which they did at the, if that had gone in, obviously that would have been amazing, and we would have been praising Martinez for the substitute he had made, but it didn't work out in the end. And actually for Spain, it was a huge advantage for what they did in the subs, making a huge impact, that team togetherness and who he brought on in the right areas at the right time.
What has Spain got to do then, do you think, if they're going to be convincing in the next round, the quarterfinals, and look like a team that can go on and win this tournament?
First of all, they kept another clean sheet record,
which is 609 minutes, and 6 successive clean sheets.
So that gives a lot of confidence. They are a very solid team. Yeah, maybe we didn't see the best outcome of the attacking players. We've seen sometimes Jamal not making the right pass, where we are used to always to make the right decision up front. But I see a team very solid, very compact. They all play together. Again, the subs made the difference, which in this kind of tournaments is very important. So I see a team that is growing, even though maybe tonight we didn't see at their best, but still they got it.
Well, tell me what it'd be like back home in terms of the reaction to that, because I'm just thinking if England got through with a performance like that, there'd probably be a bit of negativity around it, wouldn't there? And a sense that perhaps this team isn't going to go all the way.
I don't think there will be any negativity comments around the team, because we know that Portugal, they're a very good team, and it was not going to be easy and just win 3-0 like against Austria in the last round, but they compete very well.
And you're the European champions, and you've won this more recently.
Yeah, I was going to say that you won the Euros.
So we have some confidence. Yeah.
But I think for Spain, they've got such a young team, but they're already winners. So I think that's a big thing. I think it's more for Portugal. I think Portugal will be very disappointed because they've caught Spain not at the best this evening. And I think they've let Spain off the hook. I think Portugal lacked a little bit... Both teams lacked a bit of intensity and a bit of endeavour, I thought, this evening. But Spain have found a way to win the game. So you'd expect Spain as one of the favourites. I still think Spain are one of the favourites to go and win the competition.
And as for Portugal, you've already alluded to the fact that this is an incredibly talented crop of players, and actually some of them will potentially be heading towards, you know, the end of their World Cup life, if you like, and might not make the next one. But this is a team that could still go on and achieve great things in a European Championship in a couple of years' time. What do they need to do with whoever it is that takes over?
Well, for me, it's the start of a new era for them. When you lose a player like Ronaldo, I think maybe some players might have felt in the shadow of Cristiano, which is normal, you know, what he's done in the game. So for some of them players there, now it's their time to go and be the main man for Portugal. Cristiano's been here for so long, and it's a new opportunity for some of the more senior players to take that responsibility, but for younger players to come through. So I think as disappointed as they'll be now with going out of competition, I think this is the start of a new era for them.
OK, in the early hours of this morning and slightly later than planned due to bad weather, England beat Mexico 3-2 at the Azteca to reach the quarterfinals. What a night it was. England, let alone, you know, the history of the Azteca in that stadium, they knew it was going to be hostile. To overcome that, as well as the performance that they had to put in, going down to 10 men, what can that do for this group, do you think, in terms of belief?
Well, it enhances the belief all around. Everybody, yeah, they were questioned. I mean, we were at the Azteca last week, and you could feel the difference going to watch the game, going up the steps to get to the commentary position, never mind playing. So it was a factor more than some people gave it credit for, and I thought the players adapted really, really quickly and really well. A lot of them obviously were tired at the end, but I think that was more down to the playing against the extra man. But they really conducted themselves well mentally and physically, and of course there's going to be some recovery days now where they're going to have to really watch what they do and get themselves right again. But the confidence in the group must be amazing, and our best players are looking great. I mean, Kane just looks like he's playing the best football of his life. Bellingham, always incredible every time he plays. Most tournaments for England he plays to a high level. And the two centre-halves I thought were good, and Dan Burn deserves a credit as well for when he came on. He made some great blocks, and Pickford again, as I say, had his best game in the tournament so far. So the spine of the team looks really good.
Where are you watching it then on Saturday?
Good question. I'm going to be in LA, in a bar, probably in the hotel.
That's all we've got at the moment, bar.
Yeah, but it's a nice bar, so there won't be any what should we say, any trouble. It'll all be nice. No shenanigans. Too old for shenanigans, Gab.
With a visit to a cattery the following morning, no doubt.
Hopefully, yes, that'll be the next morning.
Thank you very much, Danny. Take care.
Thanks, Gab.
We should just update you, of course, with the Jordan Henderson news. Of course, his World Cup is over. He was, of course, involved in an accident, the Brentford midfielder, which meant he required...
I was thinking about this before, when he got picked for the squad, and he's such a powerful voice in the dressing room. I personally would have went with maybe an Adam Wharton in the squad to have someone who's a bit more, you know, relevant to play. But he is such an important voice, and Thomas Tuchel believes that he can have a real impact with the squad. So, yeah, it will be a loss from that point of view, certainly, and I hope he gets well soon, because it looked like a nasty injury.
As for the squad, the performance as a whole, Ellen, I think you did that thing. Everybody's asking each other today, aren't they, how you watched it. You got up at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you watched the end.
I watched the end.
And then the beginning.
Yeah. So I watched the end, watched Wayne in the studio, then re-watched it from the beginning. So I kind of knew already what happened. But, yeah, I tried to get as much sleep as possible. But, yeah, it was incredible. Just the endeavour, the passion, the desire. It reminded me like old school England, you know, with Terry Butcher, where you're like taping your head, like just those tackles, putting your body on the line, and just like an England team to be proud of. It was just unbelievable.
I think they needed that performance. I think because the previous performances were probably not what we thought, what we expected from this England team, and they needed that type of performance, you know, to go to 10 men, to have to dig in, to have to dig deep. You know, we had the delay before the game. Obviously, with all the altitude, they needed that to give themselves the belief that they can win it, but also the fans as well.
Yeah, and you could see afterwards, you know, that they just felt this huge relief and the weight of history and everything else. And of course, that's going to lead